What's happening, guys? Today's another day on the channel, and today we're gonna take a little road trip. We're gonna go to Harbor Freight, but before that we got the dash right here and we're looking at this thing, and this thing is totaled. So we're gonna try to fix this thing. I've been looking up a couple of videos on how people do it. Some people use a Dremel, a lot of people use a sander, which I have a sander. It's around here somewhere. So there it is. It's right there. So we got to use the sander afterwards. So the thing that I'm going to try to do today is I'm going to try to drill out all of this and to get the filler for it. Maybe I can find the filler at AutoZone or something like that. But I'm trying to decide if I want to flock it or if I want to paint it and like do like a whatever it is, like a vinyl paint for it, because I don't really want to flock it, because then I'm going to feel like I need to flock everything, like the door cards, the center console, everything is going to need to be flocked because flock. But no, I think we're going to try to just paint it and see how that comes out. And if it does come out like Dookie, then whatever, really, it's a dashboard and it is a drift car. So we'll figure it out, we'll make it right, and let's go to Harbor Freight. Okay, so it's the next day, and we weren't able to go to Harbor Freight yesterday because it was already 6 o'clock when I decided to go somewhere. But we went today after I went to Mercedes, so we picked up this little organizer case. This is gonna go in this corner right here. We'll move those things. We picked up the little Dremel that I actually need. The thing was a lot smaller than I thought, but we should be able to get the job done with this thing. It's got this is an 80-piece kit. So it comes with a decent amount of stuff, a couple grinders. These little ones are probably what I'll use there. It's got some grinding discs on the back. I don't know if what kind of charger that is, but we got charger stuff. Yeah, we'll figure it out. And then in here we got some more supplies for the shop. Zip ties, because we don't have any of those. Butt connectors, some wire brushes, and the stuff that's in the electrical drawer down there will now go into here. And we can take some of that stuff out that's in there, so we can actually put some more tools in there, and then we'll put it into here. So I'm going to do that, and we'll see what this grinder does and figure that stuff out in a little bit. Organized all my stuff here. I had one of these tube of towels left over, so we use that to put our zip ties in. We got red, blue, yellow. We got one of these things. Some connectors there, the fuses, a lot more blue ones right there. This one's empty. Then we got, going down the thing, we got some random electrical stuff right there. Then a little bit of fuse and switches right there. I reorganized the top so I could put the T handles in here. Got all the extension stuff right there now. This is still the same. Actually, we put this right there. And then I organized this a little bit. This was some electrical connectors and some, whatchamacallits, the things to get it into the ECU, pins. So that's all done there. And here we I moved all the fittings to this corner instead of all in one box right there. And then the Dremel is not bad. I ended up modifying it already to be just a little bit better because the thing had no air going through it, so it was getting really, really hot. So I used the Dremel to Dremel these two holes in it. So now it's got some ventilation inside, so it'll actually be a little bit cooler inside it for it. I think I might have had the front housing just a little bit too tight when I first was using this thing because it kept stopping. So, I mean, it was $10, so you can't really beat $10. I mean, if it works through this whole project and that's all it lasted for, then that's all it lasted for. But hey, I spent $10 and I got the whole dashboard done. So we did this one side right here. So I went a little bit past it here, and we're going to fill all this in later on with some Bondo or something like that, some dash filler. So we got to do this whole side here, and this side is going to be the side that takes the longest. So we'll do this little bit, and we'll keep doing it tomorrow, and then we'll figure out what else we could do tomorrow for some extra stuff. But yeah, it looks like it'll come out pretty good. That's like pretty much all the way down the foam inside it. So there's not going to be much foam on those parts, and especially up here, but it'll definitely be all fixed. So I don't really know what I'm going to do yet. Like I said, I think I might flock it. I don't know if I'm going to. If I can get it to look really nice without having to sand down a lot and putting a lot of excess bumps in it, or like high and low spots, then we'll probably just do the paint and then we'll call it with that, because I'd rather do that than flocking it. But yeah, we'll see, and that's something that we can do. We're not quite finished with the dashboard, but the Dremel keeps cutting out on me, so we're going to stop with the Dremeling for tonight, and we're going to try to Bondo these big 2 cracks here on the other side. Got some acetone right here, so we're just going to wipe down the dashboard. I sanded pretty much the whole thing with 320 grit, so this is going to be able to adhere pretty good, I think. And like I said, we're using Bondo. We're not actually using dashboard filler. So hopefully this works out good and it doesn't just mess up. I mean, we will find out tomorrow, because this is going to be finished like later this week. This was supposed to be Wednesday's video, but not a lot happened in it, and I'm not trying to put out a junk video. So we'll just wait until Saturday, and we'll put out a video again on Saturday. So we're going to clean all this off. We're going to make sure we get inside our surface in there and clean all of that out. I blew it all off with air. We're going to blow it all off with air again in a second, and we should be good. So there are a bunch of hairline cracks like right here, and that go across the top of the dash right here, but I don't know if I'm going to try to Dremel those out. I think I'm just going to leave them and then fill the whole top of the dash in up here, and then we're just going to sand it down basically until there's like nothing on the dash except for the filler spots. So okay, I think we're pretty good there. So we're going to go ahead, and now we're going to mix up some Bondo, and then we're going to fill in these cracks, and then we're going to wait and see what happens tomorrow. Hopefully it's going to turn out pretty good. Okay, so we got our good old Bondo here, and you know, our good piece of cardboard here. I use cardboard for just about everything, so yeah. Let's grab a screwdriver real quick. Does it need to be shaken? Yeah, it's okay. Probably mix it after I open it. It seemed to actually help a little bit there. So, trying not to get this. There we go. So, we'll mix this up just a little bit more, and then we're going to put a P dot onto this, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we should be good now. So I'm going to put you guys in the right area, and we'll be right back. Might know like some of the background of like the Haggard Garage days and all that kind of stuff. When I went to high school, I actually went to a technical high school. So one of the things that I went to school there for was automotive. I went to school for carpentry, but one of my top picks was automotive and body shop. So I would have been doing this as a career if I didn't didn't end up doing carpentry, and if I didn't end up getting into like actual automotive. So this is actually not that bad for me. Okay, and that is all we're gonna do for tonight. So I could have gotten this spot a little bit better, But what we'll do is when we go to do the rest of the dash, this side will already be sanded down. So I'll just do another skim coat on this side and fill in anything that I see that is low spots. Like over here, there's another low spot right in there. So we'll have to fill in all that and make it all nice and even so that when I do the dash and I spray it, it'll all come out like perfectly. So we're gonna let this sit overnight, and tomorrow we'll come back and we'll finish it up and we'll finish sanding it down. We'll finish grinding out the spots that need to be ground out, and then we'll finish up with what we need to be finishing up. And hopefully this dash does not crack again, because that would really suck. But I think one thing that I'm gonna do for this thing here is on the windshield, we're gonna put some UV protectant as a tint. Nothing that's gonna tint it, but we're going to put a film on it so that it's UV protected, so that there's no chance of anything happening to the dashboard again. So that's what we're going to do with that, but we're going to come back with you guys tomorrow. Okay, so we're back and we're going to finish a video today. So the dashboard is right here. This is definitely dry enough now to sand, so we got to get the sandpaper out and get those things going on this. This side we might not have to do another coat on it, except for maybe down in this area. This side we are definitely going to have to do another coat because this area right here is really low. We have to finish grinding all of this out because the grinder kept breaking, so we'll finish that off tonight or tomorrow or in another part of the video. The jack is still broken. We need to fix the jack, but look who showed up.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a Market Sparks video.
So Alex is over here, and he's gonna end up taking this thing today because his 240 keeps breaking and he needs a car for a couple days. So this thing's actually registered now. It's registered, it's insured, we're all good, everything's fine. So he's actually legal doing it. The only bad thing is that the windshield's cracked and the hood needs to be fixed. But we're gonna fix the hood tonight so that he can have the hood on it. Might not have a bracket on that side, but we'll deal with that later. But yeah, we got to fix the hood. So we got to get this piece right in this area to go down so that the hood latches and so that it sits in the right spot. It always had a feature of super latching when it was closed, so that was kind of cool, so that it never ever popped open. But we're gonna fix it now, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so goes on now. It's not perfect, but it works. So what we did was we got it on the front. I latched it here in the front. Then I had Alex stand on that side, and I kind of pulled on the center and pushed this side down, and it went down. And then I went over to that side and kind of pulled up on the center and pushed that edge down, and it went down. So it's got a dent right here in the center, but that's okay.
Honestly, if this wasn't here, it probably would have been a lot worse, but kind of this acted like a stopper to me.
Yeah. Yeah, so it would have completely went up and just smacked the whole center of the windshield.
Yeah.
So the whole reason that this is actually broken is because I let somebody drive it. We're not going to name names because I don't want to embarrass him or anything. He didn't know that the hood was open, and he was driving it, and the hood just came up and smacked the windshield. So it only cracked the side and went across, and then it hit the windshield wiper. So was pretty lucky that the whole center isn't all destroyed, but it's still okay. And it stopped right in the center, so the driver's side is still completely clear. So it's okay. But yeah, let's bolt this thing up and make sure that it closes and it opens still, because that's the biggest thing, is that it's actually going to open. So we'll do this real quick and we'll be right back. Okay, and just like that, the hood is fixed. So it's all good. Fit back up. Just need a little bit of pulling and a little bit of love. It's not perfectly straight. It's not perfectly not. It works and it does what it needs to do. When I was over at Roberto's and we were messing with the Mega Squirts, we ended up pulling this line off. So I had some vacuum line here. We just capped this back off. The throttle position sensor is unplugged because this thing is broken, like I said in probably one of my previous videos. And yes, the rear is raised. Oh, I still never brought the tool home for the brake calipers. I think the rear brakes are seized, but they work. I have new pads and everything, and I was going to put it on the other day, and it just the caliper just wouldn't go back. So yeah, we're gonna eventually get to that, but let's go ahead and do the dash now. All right, so Alex took the Miata for the night, and he's gonna bring it back probably sometime next week because he needs to get an alternator for his car. So I let him borrow it. We're gonna work on the dashboard now. I have to Dremel out these little pieces here and then fill it in with Bondo, and we're going to fill the whole rest of the top in with Bondo. And you know what I forgot? I forgot the sandpaper. So I have to like try to sand all this down a little bit with this thing here, which this thing's kind of beat up and we got to clean it off a little bit to be able to do this. But hopefully we can sand this down and get it to where we need it to be. I would love to have gone through like this half of the dashboard and got it down so that we can do it. I do have some 400 grit here. I believe that's what this is. But I kind of don't want to do that onto this because it's literally just going to dig into all this and it's going to make some really deep scratches. So I'd rather not do that, and I'd rather use like some 300. 300 is probably going to get gunked up on this, but we can go down to probably 100 grit, or if they have something lower that's like a middle of that, because I just don't want to go with something like that. But yeah, let's go ahead and stop talking. We're just going to Dremel the rest of this out now. So we managed to get the rest of the dash all cleaned up here. So pretty much everything is ground out to where it needs to be. This crack right here is kind of not as perfect as I would like it to be, but I'm about done with that Dremel. I'm going to get a different one later on. Hopefully this comes out pretty good. I ended up being able to sand this half of the dash down. The sander had 40 grit on it, and I was very careful, and I got it to work, so that's okay. That 40 grit is actually probably what we're going to have to use on this to get it pretty even, and then I'm kind of okay with some high spots like this, because what it's doing is it's keeping it from coming over the edge, but I think I might do these two sides again, because it definitely does have some deep scratches from the 40 grit that I want to get filled in again. But I would like to have like just a very skim coat of Bondo over it like this. So pretty much just so that it goes over the edge and it's got an extra layer of something to hold it down. This side is going to be very complicated. I cleaned it off as best as I could. Even though it looks dull, it still has some dirt on it. So hopefully this will bond to it properly and it'll work the way it's supposed to. This dashboard is very, very bad. So hopefully this works and I don't have a super ugly dash afterwards. And depending on how well this is, I might end up flocking it to end it all, because I mean, the flock actually holds it down a lot more than the actual stuff that I want to put on it will, so we'll see. But let's go ahead and do the Bondo now. We're basically going to dump the rest of this onto here and then fill all this in, because it's going to take a lot of Bondo to fill all this in. So let's go ahead and get at that now. Okay, so it's the next day, and last night after I was finished sanding everything down a little bit and cleaning everything up, I did the whole side of the dash on this side now. So we're gonna let this dry for like another day. We'll probably do this tomorrow afternoon. But it is coming out pretty good. So we're gonna hit this. This one we can probably hit with some 320 and some like 200 grit. Same with this one over here to get this just back down to the right level there. This one we'll definitely have to hit with the 40 grit, and then we'll be able to hit it with some 320, and then we'll probably have to fill this side again to make it completely smooth. I don't really have a lot of Bondo left, so we'll probably just do a skim coat on that whole thing over there, and then we'll call it a day. This one I filled in right here. This was a little crack right there. And yeah, so it's coming out pretty good, and hopefully we can have this thing done next week. But that's about it though for this video, guys. If you guys liked the video, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, comment, share, do all the good stuff. I know we didn't do that much exciting stuff in it, but hopefully next time we can. Later.